Julian. How are you doing? This is Joshua Pacheco. Joshua's 28 years of age, and he is the one that shot Julian Garcia, who's 29 years of age. But it's a set of suspicious circumstances, or different circumstances. Normally I'm here telling you that the person who shoots is absolutely unequivocally a suspect in a murder investigation, because after all, Julian Garcia was shot and killed. But I have a set of circumstances here that's really quite different. Let me take you back to Saturday night at just before 9 p.m. at the Citgo station, Highway 17 and Barmer Road, just north of the Bartow Air Base. Mr. Pacheco went into the store and bought a fruit drink. Not a beer, a fruit drink. He comes outside, he's drinking his fruit drink and absolutely, totally minding his own business. In the meantime, a Julian Garcia arrives with his sister and goes into the store. When he goes into the store, he buys a beer. And he comes out of the store, and you can see on the video clip, which we'll give you, that Garcia's sister is trying to get him to get back in the vehicle. Well, why are they at the store in the first place? Apparently they've been at Mom's house because Julian Garcia lives in Pacheco over in Orange County, and there was a tense or a strained set of circumstances at the house. So sister takes him down to the store to buy him a beer and give him a chance to calm down. So after he goes in to buy the beer, he even smarts off about the person in line in front of him. However, that person doesn't acknowledge him, maybe doesn't hear him, doesn't pay any attention to him, and goes on about their business. So when the sister's trying to get Julian Garcia into the car, for no explicable reason at all, he sees Joshua Pacheco, who is now standing near the road, ostensibly waiting for a ride from the store. And he runs directly at him to engage him in a fight. Well, Joshua Pacheco runs from the guy, tries to get away from him, and at some point in time falls down, and he and Garcia are in a fight. As the fight continues for a few seconds, Joshua Pacheco pulls a gun and shoots Julian Garcia one time in the stomach. Garcia then jumps up and he runs back into clearly the camera view, where he leans over on his truck and ultimately falls to the sidewalk. He is rushed to Lakeland Regional Medical Center, where he undergoes surgery, and quite frankly, in the beginning of the investigation, our detectives were told, he's going to survive, he's going to do all right. That didn't turn out to be the case. He ultimately succumbed to his injuries. Well, Pacheco, in the meantime, has jumped up, told people in the area, I have a concealed weapons permit, and he disappears going east on Barmer Road and possibly got into a red truck. We have not yet talked to Pacheco. We don't know where he is. We're looking for him, and we've made contact with some of his friends. We need to talk to him. He may think he's in trouble for murder, but from the initial, and I underscore the initial, information that our detectives have and the information they've put together with the witnesses, he may very well have a legitimate stand your ground case in that he's only protecting himself from a vicious assault. What's interesting, Pacheco has 5 previous felony charges, and 19 misdemeanor charges. He's currently on probation for driving while license suspended for a third time, which is a felony of the third degree. But let me underscore, even though he's obviously a convicted felon, even though he's got a lot of criminal charges in his past, on this particular Saturday night, the man was minding his own business, not drinking a beer, but drinking some fruit juice, when he's attacked by Julian Garcia, who has 11 felony charges in his history, 12 misdemeanors. He's currently on felony probation out of Orange County for DUI and leaving the scene of an accident with serious injuries. He's now deceased. He made a bad choice. He ran out there and jumped on a guy who was apparently minding his own business. At least that's what the investigation tells us so far. So here's my words to Joshua Pacheco. Yes, you got some issues for being a felon in possession of a firearm. Yes, that would constitute a probation violation. But you just need to come in and talk to us and tell us exactly what happened in your own words. And if that comports with the evidence we see right now, we will turn all of that over to the state attorney's office and work with them. But once again, it looks like Pacheco was minding his own business and only defending himself. Julian Garcia is known for being hot-headed. He's known for having anger management issues. And on this particular night, his anger management issues, when they boiled out of control, caused him to die. Any questions?
We like to polarize everything and say this is the good guy, this is the bad guy. I'm a little confused in this particular situation. Who's the bad guy?
Joshua Pacheco, who is the shooter, appears to be the good guy. He's minding his own business. He's not bothering anybody. When all of a sudden this Julian Garcia runs across the parking lot and starts chasing him around, Pacheco doesn't immediately shoot the guy. He tries to run from him. He tries to get away from him. And apparently, because it's just barely off where we can see kind of the shadows of in the camera, he falls down. Garcia goes down on top of him and a fight ensues. And subsequent to that, Pacheco appears to have defended himself and shot Garcia.
Sheriff, the video doesn't show everything, but it's better than nothing, I guess.
And in addition to that, there are witnesses. Several witnesses that observed the chasing and the fight, and the circumstances sure appear at this time that Pacheco, even though he's on probation, he should not have had a gun, certainly has a right to defend himself. And Julian Garcia, who we know has an anger management issue, is drinking a beer at the store. We're told may have been drinking more beer earlier in the evening or during the day. He, for whatever reason, went out and jumped on Pacheco. Our investigation at this point clearly indicates neither of these guys knew each other, had zero interaction in the past. So, you know, the guy who's got a criminal history, he's just behaving himself, which is what we want him to do. And Julian Garcia, who has a history of an anger management issue, he jumped on the wrong guy.
Is there any evidence, Sheriff, to suggest they had any interaction in the store? Anything that suggests why Garcia would suddenly run after him in the park?
Zero. We don't even see that they had words at the store at all at this point in the investigation. And that's what is suspicious about this entire event. It's like, why did you pick this guy to go out and jump on? Because obviously they didn't know each other. They'd not had a fight. They didn't have words. We have no idea.
He just wanted to take his anger out on someone.
He wanted to take his anger out on someone. He'd already been in what they the reason the sister brought him to the store is apparently they had gone to some kind of family gathering because a child had been born, a kind of a festive occasion. And he had a history of not getting along with maybe his mother or some of the family. And there was a strained relationship that evening. So the sister brought him down to the store, bought him a beer to calm things down. And then you can see in the video how the sister has to kind of encourage him to get back in the car. So obviously, I don't know at this point in the investigation, because we don't have toxicology back, how much he may have had to drink on this occasion. We're told he has anger management problems, and it's not unlike him to be angry. But this guy has now made his way from the store to the side of the road where he's ostensibly waiting for a ride. Pacheco's not bothering anybody. He's not talking to anybody. And all of a sudden, this guy gallops across the parking lot and jumps on him. Pacheco tries to run from him.
So when you say he's known to have anger management issues, is that the word you're getting from his family?
That's the word we're getting from the initial investigation, yes.
But you're also looking for Pacheco for possession of a firearm at a felony.
That's correct. At this point in time, the two issues that we see is a probation violation and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. But obviously, we need to talk to him. And once we put our investigation together, then we will meet with the state attorney's office. They'll make the ultimate decision. But I can tell you initially, this is what Stand Your Ground was created for. It was created for the person standing there, minding their business, no conflict, no interaction, no problems, and all of a sudden this person creates a formidable, violent threat where you can believe you're going to be significantly injured or killed, and you have the right to defend yourself. So at this point in the investigation, that's what it appears to us. But I thought it was a classic set of circumstances in that Pacheco is on probation. He's there drinking a fruit juice and behaving and having no interaction with the other fella on probation with an illustrious felony record who's drinking beer and he runs across the parking lot to start the altercation. It's not like they passed each other and there was a kerfuffle. He ran through the parking lot out to the edge of the road where the man was standing.
Sure, could you go over?
Bad decision.
Could you go over the criminal history for Garcia?
Yeah. Garcia has 11 previous felony charges, 12 previous misdemeanor charges. He's currently on probation out of Orange County for DUI, leaving the scene of a crash with serious bodily injury.
Had this convicted felon not had a gun, what would the outcome have been?
Well, obviously, if he hadn't have had a gun, then there couldn't have been a shooting death. But had he not had a gun and he used his fist or a stick to defend himself and the other guy died, based on the same set of circumstances that we know at this point in the investigation. And as you know, this is subject to change when it's completed, but our best information this far, we take a statement from him and give him a ride back to the house.
You think he's running because he's scared he's going to get charged with murder?
I think he's running because he's scared he's going to get charged with murder. He told some of his family that he had shot a guy. I think if he realizes that another felony charge for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and violation of probation is not a good thing, but it is a hugely minor event compared to a murder charge. And quite frankly, we can't absolutely unequivocally 100% rule out a murder charge. But certainly it does not appear to be that at this time in the investigation. It appears to be a stand your ground.
how difficult of a time is your agency having to get people in, and why?
Yeah, I think we first need to look at the great economic situation we're in this state and this country. Unemployment, the last time I looked across the country, is 3.9%. If you talk to the economists, they will tell you 3.9% simply means everybody that wants to work is working. So we're not hiring unemployed people any longer. What we're doing is we're swapping employees with other folks where these folks are already employed. I'm the president of the Major County Sheriffs of America. What we're seeing here is the same thing that we're seeing across the country, and that is when you have full employment, it is very difficult to recruit for law enforcement because there are other jobs out there that pay a lot of money, that pay very well. It doesn't require shift work, nor does it require going to work with people wanting to shoot you, stab you, beat you up, and cuss at you all day long. So what we're seeing today is not unlike the environment we saw in the last uptick of the economy a few years ago. So we just have to work harder at recruiting. We have to provide recruiting bonuses, but it's not a one agency problem. It's a, I guess economically for the benefit of this country, it's good problems to have.
Are the incentives that your agency is offering working? Are they working?
We just put the incentives back in place because we haven't needed them for a period of time. So they will work, yes, absolutely. We're already seeing an uptick in applications, and obviously that will end up as hiring more people. But you must understand, of every 100 people that apply here, only about 10 are hired because there's detailed background investigations, psychologicals, and polygraphs. And we've just rolled out of an environment where the police were under almost daily attack by the national media. So when you add all that together, the biggest problem is 3.9% unemployment nationwide and mothers. You know why? Mothers are looking at their children who are getting ready to graduate from college and said, you're not going to go into a law enforcement job where you go to work, take that kind of risk, and then make a mistake and they want to stick you in prison for the rest of your life. You go do something else, and the economy affords them that opportunity at usually more money and less treacherous hours or risk. So when you're fighting the economy and mama at home, that's tough. Mama, send your babies to work for us. We need good, honest people that will help us keep the community safe. And once again, that's not just here, it's across the state and across the nation. But I've got to tell you, it's a struggle to recruit right now, but it's great problems for us to have as far as the nation. I like it when people are working.
I have a question. Pacheco, what area, where's he from?
Pacheco lives in Polk County.
Does he have pretty strong roots here?
He does have friends and family here.
Is he from here?
I don't know if he's from here originally or not. I think he at one time lived over in Orange County and Orlando area too.
What community is he from? Is he from Winter Haven?
I think he's from the Juanita area right now.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you all very much. Have a good Monday.